Hello everybody, my name is Laura, and this is the very first episode of my new cooking channel. This is something I've wanted to do for a little bit. I am a hardworking mom, and I enjoy coming home and making a meal for my family. However, right now I'm not a hardworking mom. Right now it is the 25th of March, and we are full into a COVID thing here. Our city is actually shutting down tomorrow. Anyway, that has given me a whole bunch of time since I've been laid off, so I thought I'd finally get my cooking channel started. So here we go. Today we are making some green chili. As you can see, I am dicing some tomatillos. Here is a fresh one out of the bag. First, I'm going to remove the peel here, and then I'm going to dice it up. Now, my recipe here calls for 8 large tomatillos. Right now, with things being the way they are, the produce you can find is the produce you can find. So I found some medium to small tomatillos. I actually did find some fresh produce, which is very exciting. So I wound up with about 12 small to medium ones. Next is going to be half of a sweet onion. As you can see, I've peeled it, and I'm going to dice up about half of it right here. There's about half. And then I'm going to go through and chop up all the bits here to make sure they're nice and small. People in my house don't really like onions and weren't excited I was putting this in here, but it really does help add to the flavor of the green chili, and if I cook it down long enough, they don't really notice it's there. It just adds to the flavor. I am putting the lid on the pot, though, to kind of keep my eyes from watering too bad. Our next ingredient here is going to be some Big Jim roasted chilies. I got these from a local farmer's market. I do about 5 of these green chilies, so when I got a whole batch of them, I just froze them in baggies of 5. So first thing I did here was scrape off any excess skin that was on there, opened it up, and now just with my knife, just moving it upwards in that upward motion there, I'm able to get most of the seeds out of there. Then I'm going to slice it long ways and then dice it up. And again, that's going to be about 5 of these here green chilies. Now this recipe, I mean, I know right now things are looking a little dire at the grocery stores, but a lot of the stuff is stuff that I just had in my freezer. I had these chilies in my freezer, and the pork tenderloin that we'll get to here in a moment, I had some of that in the freezer. I was able to find the tomatillos. That was kind of the clinching point here of making this green chili. And here, as you can see, here is my pork tenderloin. This is something I actually got from Costco. This was about a quarter of the tenderloin I got, and that bad boy was only about $13. Like I said, had it in Costco, froze it in quarters, so for things like this. So first thing I did there was I trimmed off the fat cap, and now I am dicing it up. Then once I'm all the way done dicing this, we will be about ready to start. Nothing's on heat or anything yet. I'm just prepping everything, getting it all ready to go here. Now everything is ready to go. I've got my diced onions in my pot with a little bit of olive oil. I've got my pork tenderloin. I've got my tomatillos, my green chilies, and then I have 2 large cloves of garlic ready to be crushed. So I'm now ready to go. Put the heat on the pot. Now we're going to cook down the onions. While that is happening, I'm going to salt up my pork tenderloin here with some kosher salt and some, well, it's not fresh ground pepper, it's pepper in a can. I mean, right now we're doing what we can, right? Anyway, we'll still have some delicious food once all is said and done here. Alright, so my onions are cooking, my pork is seasoning. In a little bit I will need some cumin, so I may as well get that out and get that going. So we're looking for our onions to be nice and translucent and cooked down. Now this has been a little bit, those are cooked, so now we're going to go ahead and add our garlic cloves with my garlic press. Go ahead and squeeze that on in, and then with a knife, go ahead and scrape the back of that off. Clean it out, and we will add our second garlic clove. Here we go. So now I do live in Colorado, and I've always thought it was funny, us Coloradans, we really do like our green chili. We put it on everything. One of my favorite ways to eat this is on some french fries, like some loaded french fries, so some green chili and some cheese heated up is amazing. I also like it on baked potatoes, and of course just with chips. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more olive oil. It was starting to stick to the bottom of the pan pretty good, and I would like it to be ready here for my pork. So here we go. We're going to add all of our pork. I don't think I ever said this pork is about 1.5 to 2 pounds of pork. Go ahead and we are going to let this fry up and cook. I am using a cast iron pot here, so if you use something like that, please get a pot holder so you don't burn yourself. We're going to go ahead and cook down that pork until it is all the way done. Alright, here we go. It is done. I'm now going to go ahead and add some of my cumin to season that up really nice. You see my very exact measurements here. Just go ahead and, there's really no such thing as too much cumin. Just kind of sprinkle it all across all the top of that and then stir it all back up. The thickening agent that I'm going to use today is going to be some flour. You can see my open flour container there to the left. You see that once all this pork cooked down, there's some nice juice left at the bottom of that. So we're going to do either 3 to 4 tablespoons of flour and stir it up in that juice. I'm starting right now. I'm putting in 3. I will stir it around, see how that looks, and then in a minute I will go ahead and add that 4th tablespoon, just because I still did have so much liquid left over. So then we are going to stir this all up, let it get nice and incorporated, and here that is. Yep, and I'm like, oh man, that's still really wet. Let's go ahead and put in 1 more tablespoon. You want to cook that flour just for a minute to help kind of get the flour taste out. Get that flour cooked. So now I did my next steps backwards. What you should do next is go ahead and add that bowl full of vegetables and cook those down also before adding your liquid. I missed that step. Actually, you could do that even before you put in the flour. So now this calls for 1 whole box of chicken broth, which is 4 cups. Chicken broth has been quite the scarcity. This is what I had left in my fridge, which wound up being just under 2 cups. So I'm going to go ahead and top that off with some water, add that to the pot. Eventually I do add another cup of water down the line, and I'm just going to have some thick green chili because I didn't want to water it down too much. So I stirred everything in, adding my vegetables, reading my recipe, going, crap, I should have done this first. But that's okay, you know what? It still turned out delicious. Soups and stews are really forgiving that way, which is nice. One thing I didn't mention, I have absolutely no real cooking education. This is just my hobby. This is something I enjoy doing for myself. I'm in no way any sort of expert. This is just what I do. This is how I do it. If you have any fabulous tips for me, I would love to have them in the comments. Go right ahead. This is just also several different recipes that I blended together. No real Hispanic fabulous people have ever given me their green chili recipes. This is just me doing my best. If you have any tips for me, if you know a great green chili recipe, please put them in the comments. So I did cook down this green chili then for about 2 hours. And once that was done, I have this bunch of cilantro and I'm putting about half the head in and stirring that in. And that, my friends, is that. The green chili is done. Thank you so much for watching this with me, and please come on back next time for my next recipe. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.